Hey, welcome back for another episode. This one I'm calling Making My Bed Changed My Life. So a few years ago I was really struggling with my mental health, with depression and anxiety, and to be honest it felt like they were both running and ruining my life. I constantly felt paralysed in my thoughts and my emotions, and so I knew big changes were needed to get me out of that place. But you know what, maybe you know this struggle as well. If you're in that place, you also feel like you lack the strength to do that. And so I came across the question, I had to answer, where do I begin when I'm in a place like that? And so I came across this suggestion through a blog to actually have routines in your life and start really small, even of making your bed every day. Just putting your pillows in the right place, smoothing out the duvet, that kind of thing. And you know what? I was like, okay, I could maybe do that kind of thing. I reckon I can do that each day. It seemed possible, so I tried that, and it really helped. And so, when there's so much in your life, in your thoughts and your emotions that feels out of control, it's really important to find the things that you do have control over, something small. And as you work on that, you find that it is empowering. It's the small things that we find that start us on a path for the biggest transformation. I've been, over these last few years now, been reluctantly learning about how much routine and rhythm that I need. I need way more than I would have ever expected that I needed. And the reason I think I need these things is actually it helps me not become enslaved to anxiety, keeps me feeling productive, feeling somewhat in control of my life. And so since discovering this rhythm, I'm finding a greater peace and a greater sense of freedom that I do what I actually want to be doing. And so I found that actually having rhythms and routines in life has not been as boring as it sounds. It has actually been exciting because it actually allowed me to increase my capacity. And as a Christian, I believe that God has designed all creation with a rhythm. We see that the earth orbits around the sun once a year. We have 4 seasons, or something. It just feels like we get winter in Scotland. But there are 4 seasons, there are 52 weeks in the year, there are 7 days in our weeks, and we even see in the Genesis creation account that there was evening, then there was morning, there was evening, then there was morning. That rhythm over and over again. And this is good. Can you imagine if there was no rhythm in creation? That would be chaotic, that would be crazy, things would be so out of control. And so God has deliberately made our natural world to function with rhythm. And He has also made us, His creation, men and women, in His likeness, to be creatures of habit. Our bodies need sleep every night. God says, take a day off once a week, take a Sabbath rest once a week. If we try and live out with these natural rhythms and these limits that God has put on us, so quickly we will find that we burn out, that we are stressed, that we're anxious, that we feel broken. See, we become less than human. We become less than what and who God has made us to be. And so making my bed has actually changed my life because it's taught me about these rhythms and routines. It's helped me to feel more control over my days. And this has happened and this led then to bigger shifts in my time, how I manage my time. Another example, again with sleep, because I love sleep. I'm sure you do as well. When I was growing up, my parents would have a bedtime for me. They would tell me, this is the time to go to bed. But as you move out of home, as you go to university, as you get a job, whatever that looks like, you sometimes feel like actually, I'm tired, I'm going to bed late, and that's what I was finding myself doing. I was watching too much Netflix, social media, and just find I was never really going to bed and feeling refreshed. And what I realised is that I kept saying to myself, I'm going to bed late, that's frustrating, but I never worked out what time I actually wanted to go to bed. And so I had to figure that out, what time is going to bed on time. And so rather than just complaining about it, I decided to do something about it. So I came across this thing called a sleep gateway, and this is like your routine that you have before you go to sleep that helps you wind down before you get some sleep. And so that includes things like brushing your teeth, packing your bag for the next day, setting up your morning coffee, setting your phone to charge. It might look different for each person. But doing these routines before bed actually helped me to figure out, okay, this is how I start to sleep at the right time, and figuring out when I want to start that routine at, so maybe half an hour before actually going to bed. And so these things are really important because these are routines that help us to get to where we want to get. So how do we establish routines in our life? Well, let me give you a few thoughts that I think would be really helpful for you. And so you can let me know if you're trying these out or any other principles, lessons that you've learned about managing your routines. So first of all, value yourself and your time. If you don't value yourself, you're not going to establish good and healthy routines. You need to take charge of your life and not just going with the flow of what happens. And so, we feel constantly pulled in different directions, but having these rhythms and these routines establish our feet on the ground, if you will. But we need to value ourselves, that actually our time is really valuable. Your time, my time, it's the most valuable resource that we've got. We can't get it back. We can always get more money, we can always get more friends, but we can never get more time. And so it is such a valuable resource. We need to value it as such. So value yourself and your time. Secondly, live with the bigger picture in mind. You see, if you just establish the routines because someone's told you to do it, like me or someone else, then it's not going to last. What you need is a vision for your future. See, if you want to lose weight, you need to have a vision of what you want to be like. You want to have a vision of what your health will be like, not just like feeling guilty or shameful, okay, I need to lose some weight. You actually need to have a vision of what you want to accomplish. For example, at the Olympics, athletes will compete for the gold medal, and that is their goal, that is their motivation. But they need to establish the healthy rhythms in between every 4 years of going to the Olympics. They need to turn up at training every day, they need to get up early, they need to eat the right foods, and I'm sure they don't necessarily love to eat all the right foods or to do their training regimen that they've got. But what they do it, and they establish those healthy routines in their life because they have a bigger vision in mind. They want to accomplish the gold medal, they want to win at what they are competing in. And so that is so important to have the bigger vision. And so, going to bed a bit earlier on time, it's not just so I feel better. My focus, my vision with that is that I have more energy for the next day. And if I have more energy, then the likelihood is that I'm going to be more loving the next day. And so I want to be able to be better for those that are around me. And so that I need to have a bigger vision in mind, not just for the sake of ticking off a box, oh yes, I've gone to bed early. So live with a bigger vision, with a bigger picture in mind. Know your priorities. If you don't know what's important to you, then everything will be important to you. You'll be rushing around trying to figure out what to do, when to do it. But establish, what are my priorities? And design your diary, your weekly pattern, your daily pattern around these priorities. For me in the mornings, I love to spend time with God. He is the most important relationship that I have. And so therefore I will carve out that time, I'll plan that time to spend time with Him. So it's so important to know our priorities. And maybe not everyone will understand your priorities. That's okay, they don't need to. Make sure that you know your priorities. And make your rhythms and your routines sustainable. When you've probably tried to start new habits before, maybe you've made New Year's resolutions before, and so often after 3 hours or maybe days, they fail. And actually what we need is to make our new habits, our routines, our rhythms sustainable. Otherwise they won't last. If we are going from not doing any exercise to doing 7 workouts a week, 7 days, then that's probably unsustainable. But you need to build up to that if you want to do that. Start with at least 1 workout a week, then maybe increase it to 2, maybe to 3. Consider what is sustainable for your life. Ask yourself, will it last? Because if it doesn't feel sustainable, you'll lose the motivation to maintain those rhythms and routines. And so what? Maybe like me, you feel like there's a lot you want to change in your life. But we've got time. Change one thing at a time. Change one habit, establish one routine. Maybe the most important thing for you right now, change one thing at a time. It's so important. And as you're thinking about these new rhythms, these routines that you want to have, recognize the things that will stop you, recognize the interruptions that you'll have, recognize the distractions that you'll have. And we live in a world of distractions. Your phone is probably one of the biggest distractions as well. So if you want to get some good sleep, turn your phone off, put it on airplane mode, put it in a different room, whatever it takes. Recognize what will stop you having the right rhythms that you want to have. Throw away all your snacks in your cupboards if you don't want to eat them. If you don't want to have that temptation there, get rid of them. Just get rid of the interruptions and distractions. Think through what they could be. And you're not going to do it perfectly. You're not. We will fail even with our best efforts and our attempts. We will sometimes fail at establishing our habits. But you know what? To keep it consistent. So when you don't eat healthily, don't just go on a binge of unhealthy food. Actually get back on track as soon as possible. Don't beat yourself up. You know what? Don't expect perfection from yourself, but look for progress. Allow yourself to grow in that as well. And as you come back more consistently, you'll develop that habit more regularly as well. So there are a few thoughts, ideas around routines and rhythms and habits for your life. And I think actually with these things in place, it'll help your mental health, it'll help your physical health, it'll help you in each area of your life. So take some time, think through what will help you and what rhythms and routines do you want to establish in your life. So thanks so much for watching, listening. I'd love to hear from you. What is helping you? Leave a comment. Connect with me on social media at DanEverett90. I'd love to hear from you. And please subscribe. I would love it if you did. Please share this with friends. I think it's going to really help some people. Thanks, guys.